home and I'll kind of take a look at
I'd like to call the meeting to order. If we could stand for the pledge.
Of the United States of America and to the
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the June regular meeting of the District 94 Board of Education. Mission statement, please.
Community High School strives to promote and provide growth experiences in learning, leadership, and living.
Thank you, Rich. Board agreements, please.
Communicating with the media. The board president or designee is the spokesperson for the board to the media. The superintendent or designee is the spokesperson for the district to the media.
Thank you, Lynn. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown.
Here.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Here.
Ms. Doremus.
present.
Ms. Munoz.
Here.
Mr. Nagel.
Present.
Mr. Sake.
Present.
Mr. Zuniga.
Here.
All right, that brings us to public participation. Before we begin public comment, I would like to read the following statement. On June 16th, 2023, by mutual agreement and settlement, the Board of Education of Community High School District 94 and Superintendent Dr. Moses Cheng decided to end their contractual relationship effective June 30th, 2023. It is important to the parties that this mutual decision is the result of a difference in political, educational, and philosophical approaches. The Board of Education acknowledges that Dr. Cheng has notable skills in systems analysis, refinement and creation, and policy development and implementation, and the board thanks him for his efforts, particularly through the pandemic. In turn, Dr. Cheng would like to thank the past and present Board of Education members, community members and leaders, parents, staff, administrators, and students who have worked and who continue to work to maximize the success of all of the students of Community High School District 94. Ed? Public participation. This is the portion of our meeting where any member of the public can address the Board of Education on any topic. We welcome your comments and will listen carefully to your concerns. We will not be able to engage in a dialogue during public participation, but when appropriate, we will direct the administration to follow up. Presentations are limited to no more than 5 minutes per person, with a total time limit of 30 minutes for public participation. If you wish to make personal charges or complaints against individual employees, volunteers, or students of the district, we request that you send the board your concerns in writing rather than stating those concerns during public comment. If anyone currently present wishes to make public comment and hasn't already done so, please fill out one of the comment forms in the back of the room and hand it to someone seated at the table. All right, first public comment is from BPAC West Chicago, Julieta Alcantar Garcia.
Estimados miembros de la Junta de Educación, nosotros, el Consejo Asesor de Padres Bilingües de West Chicago, Illinois, hemos venido ante ustedes hoy en nuestra reunión regular de la Junta de Educación para presentar nuestras propuestas de acciones que queremos lograr. También estamos aquí para cumplir con todos los padres de nuestra comunidad, entregando las cartas y peticiones que fueron firmadas por muchos. Esto es lo que prometimos a nuestra comunidad y estamos cumpliendo nuestra promesa hoy.
Dear members of the Board of Education, we, the Bilingual Parents Advisory Council of West Chicago, Illinois, have come before you today at our regular Board of Education meeting to present our proposals of actions we want accomplished. We are also here to comply with all the parents of our community by delivering the letters and petitions that were signed by many. This is what we promised our community, and we are fulfilling our promise to them today.
También queremos reiterar los puntos de nuestra carta que le entregamos. Queremos ver las víctimas recientes que fueron empujadas a abandonar su educación de preparatoria sean reintegradas para terminar su educación y recibir su diploma de escuela preparatoria high school. La educación es un derecho humano y este es su derecho también. Nosotros también queremos ser incluidos en el currículo educativo de nuestra escuela preparatoria comunitaria de West Chicago. Estudios chicanos y latinos, que las lecciones del idioma español sean de un español hablado en América Latina y México, y no de España. También nos gustaría que se ofrecieran más actividades extracurriculares y culturales como ballet folclórico y mariachi, como una continuación de los programas ofrecidos en nuestro Distrito Escolar 33 de West Chicago. Consideramos que estas solicitudes son muy importantes para nuestros estudiantes y niños, ya que desarrollan una autoestima positiva y el sentimiento de que pertenecen a este país y que nuestro país pertenece a ellos también.
We want to reiterate the points of our letter delivered to you as well. We want to see the recent victims who were pushed to drop out of their high school education reinstated to finish their education and receive their high school diploma. Education is a human right, and this is their right as well. We also want to be included in the educational curriculum of West Chicago Community High School Chicano and Latino Studies. That the lessons of Spanish language be a Spanish spoken in Latin America and Mexico and not from Spain. We would also like to see more extracurricular and cultural activities offered, such as ballet folklorico and mariachi, as a continuation of the programs offered at our West Chicago School District 33. We find these requests very important for our students and children as they build a positive self-esteem and the feeling that they belong to the country and that our country belongs to them as well.
Para mejorar la confianza y la relación entre los padres, los estudiantes, la Junta de Educación y la Administración de Community High School Distrito 94 de West Chicago, el Consejo Asesor de Padres Bilingües recomendamos lo siguiente. Es necesario que se lleve a cabo un foro comunitario al comienzo de nuestro año escolar. Esta es una oportunidad para que los padres y los estudiantes planteen sus inquietudes, problemas y dificultades que han estado enfrentando con nuestra Junta de Educación, Administración, personal educativo y los profesionales de apoyo estudiantil. BPAC quiere ayudar a crear este nuevo puente de comunicación entre nuestras familias y todos ustedes para encontrar las soluciones necesarias. Recomendamos que estos foros comunitarios se lleven a cabo al comienzo de cada año escolar para que los padres bilingües y latinos de West Chicago. BPAC también quiere ser invitados a reuniones de diálogo y decisiones. Queremos poder traer a la mesa de conversaciones, sugerencias y también información para llevar a nuestra comunidad. También solicitamos ser incluidos de alguna manera en el proceso de reclutamiento de un nuevo superintendente para nuestras escuelas Distrito 94. La comunicación y la información son factores muy importantes para obtener confianza y transparencia entre su equipo y las familias latinas de nuestra comunidad de West Chicago, Illinois. Gracias por su tiempo y estaremos a la espera de su respuesta.
To improve the trust and relationship between the parents, the students, the Board of Education, and the administration of Community High School District 94 of West Chicago, the Bilingual Parents Advisory Council recommends the following. It is necessary for a community forum to be held at the beginning of our school year. This is an opportunity for parents and students to raise their concerns, problems, and difficulties they have been facing to our Board of Education, administration, educational staff, and student support professionals. BPAC wants to help create the new bridge of communication between our families and all of you to come up with the necessary solutions. These community forums we recommend to be held the beginning of every school year for the bilingual and Latino parents of West Chicago. BPAC also wants to be invited to your meetings of dialogue and decisions. We want to be able to bring to the table of conversation suggestions and also information to bring out to our community. We also ask to be included in any way to the process of recruiting a new superintendent for our school district 94. Communication and information are very important factors to obtain trust and transparency between your team and the Latino families of our community of West Chicago, Illinois. Thank you for your time, and we will await your response.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Cruz Maria Barrios.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Pues me da gusto que ya miro cambios
I am glad to see
más o menos
changes,
de lo que nosotros estamos
more or less
pidiendo.
what we have been asking.
Y pues ahorita también nos gustaría que
We'd
por
also like
escrito
to-
en qué términos
We also like to
se
know
está
by
yendo
written
el
form
señor
what kind of
Moisés.
terms is Dr. Moses is living on.
Y de verdad yo en lo personal
I personally,
me encantaría ver próximamente muchos
I would
cambios de
also
los que
like to
hemos
see
estado pidiendo
other changes such as the
aquí
ones
ya
that we've
más de
been
2
asking
años en estas
for about 2
reuniones.
years during these types of meetings.
Porque yo ya lo he dicho aquí,
I have said it before
desgraciadamente
here.
tengo un hijo que
Unfortunately,
este año estaría en
I
esta
have a
escuela
son who will be here
y por las
this year at
situaciones
school.
que viví anteriormente con
But for
nuestro
the
hijo,
situations that I lived with him
decidimos
over the last
no
year,
enviarlo a esta escuela.
we decided not to put him in this school
Y es triste porque él
And it is
está
sad
deseando venir a la escuela,
because he wishes to be here,
a esta,
this
pero
school.
por lo que se ha vivido y por lo que hemos mirado
But
aquí
for
de
the things
drogas,
that we have
que para mí eso es
lived
bien
through
importante.
drugs, and which of course that's very
Es algo
important for
bien
me.
importante
That is
tomar
very
en cuenta
important.
aquí en esta escuela
We need to
cómo
make
se están
sure
distribuyendo las drogas
we
en
pay
los
attention
baños
how
y cómo
in this
muchos
school drugs are being distributed in the
muchos
bathrooms.
niños evitan mejor ir al baño porque ya saben
And
que ahí
even
están
some
las
kids
drogas.
are, not even going to the bathroom just because they know they are giving drugs there
Y
or
bueno,
distributing them
por el
there.
momento es todo y aquí nos vamos a seguir mirando y esperamos
to be here.
muy pronto ver cambios
And we hope to see more changes,
positivos para todos los
positive
estudiantes.
changes for all the students.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Maria Ayara.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Vengo con lo mismo,
I
lamentablemente.
come here with the same thing, of course, sadly.
Me han dicho que soy inconsciente
You
por
have
venir a
told me that
exhibir a
I'm
lo personal de la escuela.
Not very conscious because I'm here exposing the personal.
Pero tengo buenas noticias. Mi hijo quiere
But I
regresar a
also have
clases.
good news. My son wants to return to school, to classes,
Pero no
But-
quiere toparse a Antonio del Real,
but he does not want to see Antonio de Real.
ya que es el motivo por el cual abandonó
That
la
is the
escuela.
reason why he left school.
No sé qué solución me puedan
I
dar
don't know
ustedes,
what kind of solution you can give me.
porque me costó mucho trabajo convencerlo para que
It
viniera a
obviously
clases.
was extremely hard for me to convince him to return to school.
Y dentro de clases, lo único que hacían era decirle que no se presentara a
Within the
clases.
classes, the only thing
que
that
mejor
he
se
heard
quedara en
was,
casa.
please do not even come to school. It's better for you to stay at home.
Entonces, creo que
So with that,
la única opción son ustedes
the option is you.
y espero que me den buenas noticias para
And
que
I
mi hijo
hope
pueda
that you really
regresar a la
provide
escuela.
good news so my son can return to school.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. And finally, Rocio Hernandez.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Lo de siempre que
Just like always,
venimos buscando, bueno,
we
yo en
come,
lo
at least
personal,
I personally come.
una vez Dwayne me hizo un comentario,
One time, Dwayne
me hizo un
made a
comentario
comment.
que dijo, tengo 2,000 niños y
I have
300 personas
2,000
cuidándolos.
students and 300 people watching them.
A mí no me interesan
I
los
don't care
1999, a mí me interesaba mi
the
hija.
1,900. I
Si
worry
los
about my
demás
own
no
kid,
levantan
my
la voz
daughter.
para
If the
venir a
other ones do
decir,
not come and stand here
tienen
to come
que
and say
cambiar
something,
desde adentro
you have to change. You have to change
para
from
que
the
los muchachos se
inside,
encaminen
so
mejor
the
y no
kids
se
have a
dediquen a
better way.
correrlos.
So, you know, they're not. You guys are not just taking time to get rid of them.
Es cortar el problema desde el principio.
It is to
Y
cut the problem from the very beginning.
con la gran sorpresa de
With the
que
surprise now,
por dignidad espero que haya sido así.
for good
Chan
dignity,
se retiró
that
y así también
Moses
queremos que Martino
we will hope that
del
Martino,
Real y Verónica se vayan.
and Veronica also go away.
Y por lo pronto a
At
la
least for
junta
now,
pasada un padre dijo,
during the last meeting,
llevo
a
10 años
father said, I
mirándoles la
have
cara.
10 years here
El
watching
año
your
que viene,
faces.
por favor,
Next year,
quiero que hagan un referéndum
I would like for you
para
to
que
do a
cambien la mesa
referendum
directiva,
so you can
o es
change the
eterno.
so you can change the
Es
board of
eterno,
directors,
tienen
or
el
is it
reinado
eternal, or do you
por siempre, para
have
siempre.
a reign
No,
forever?
no estamos en
No,
Narnia,
we're not in
ni estamos
Narnia
en ningún reino.
or in any
Necesitamos
type
ver
of
caras
kingdom.
nuevas
We need to
y
see new
necesitamos
faces,
cambios.
and we need changes.
Y definitivamente
And
aquí voy a
definitely,
seguir
I'm going to continue to be here,
repitiendo lo mismo,
repeating
repitiendo lo
what-
mismo,
the same
hasta
thing,
que
the
no
same
se
thing
hagan
over and
cambios,
over until I see changes.
hasta que no haya algo
Until we
positivo
don't
para
have a
los
change that is
muchachos.
positive for our students.
Tanta droga, tantas cosas
No
que
more
tienen
drugs.
adentro y todos,
There's so
todos.
much drugs
Yo espero
inside,
que no
and
duerman
every one of you, I
tranquilos.
really hope that you
Eso
are not
espero que
sleeping
no
in
duerman
peace,
tranquilos
that
porque
you
se
do not
supone
sleep
que todos
peacefully,
tienen
because I
hijos y
believe
nietos
that all of you have sons, daughters,
y deben
and
de ver,
grandkids, and you
de ver
have to see,
cómo
or
tienen
must see,
que encaminar a los muchachos.
how to put them in the right way.
Y de todas las maneras,
And in many ways, or
espero
anyway,
que Chan, si recogió su
hope
dignidad donde la haya
Dr. Chan,
encontrado y se fue,
hopefully he picked up his
esperamos
dignity,
que
and I hope wherever he
Martino,
goes,
Dwayne
the Martino,
y
Dwayne,
Verónica,
and Veronica,
incluyendo al del Real, se vayan
including the
también.
real, does the same thing and go away.
Eso es todo. Y no les doy las gracias porque
And
ni
I do not
siquiera se
thank
las
you
merecen.
because you do not
Las
deserve
gracias
it.
se les da al que te sirve, al que te
Gratitude
ayuda,
you
y
give to
ustedes
those who
se ayudan a ustedes
support you
mismos.
to help you, but you guys help each other.
Thank you for your comments. All right, that brings us to reports and information. Director of Business Services report.
Thank you. Just a quick construction update. All aspects of construction are moving along, and the field house floor is expected to be completed by the end of the month. A helicopter was on site yesterday, removing the old air handlers. The helicopter will have to come back on June 22nd, this Thursday, to remove the rest of the equipment, and then again, it'll be back on June 28th to place the new air handlers. The other summer construction work is moving along, with the hallway lights and ceiling tiles almost completed, and the bathrooms are completely demoed. All aspects of construction are on track to be completed as expected. I also have the privilege of doing the principal's report.
A quick question on your construction. Do you
Sure.
know approximately what time those helicopters will be doing their work?
They tend to be in the morning. At 7:30 is when they should be here.
Sounds good.
It's pretty cool.
That's what I was imagining. I've
Is that why
already
you
had
were
somebody
asking?
say, gee, I'd love to go watch that, so.
And so Will's principal report, we received notification from the College Board that 3 of our students were recognized for one or more of College Board's recognition programs. We will get the specific awards in July and plan to recognize those students in the fall. We are ending the first summer school session and will begin our second session in early July. So far, the program has been positive with over 200 students participating. Last week, members of the administration and staff attended the annual AVID conference in Dallas. This conference is a great opportunity to continue to expand the strategies and philosophies of AVID throughout the school, and these conferences have been a key tool to AVID being so successful at WeGo. Since our last meeting, our girls softball team won the regional championship. This is our first regional championship in softball in over a decade. The team eventually lost in the sectional semifinals, but had an incredible season nonetheless. Congratulations to the entire team. 2 weeks ago, we hosted a mini football camp in partnership with the Chicago Bears. Current Bears coaches and former players were on campus and spent the entire day with members of our football team and teams from 3 other area schools. Students heard from coaches and players about best practices in the game of football, and the Bears made a $2,500 donation to the football program at WeGo. Big thank you to everyone who attended our commencement ceremony at NIU last month. This was our third year in a row using NIU's facility, and the event was a huge success with no problems. Mark your calendars for May 15th, 2024 for the next year's commencement ceremony. And finally, you have the discipline and attendance reports in your packet.
Thank you for that, Dan. Director of Human Resources.
Good evening. I'll begin with the FOIA request tonight. The district has received 8 FOIA requests since the last meeting. The first FOIA request is from Cheryl Moore for the time the closed session meeting started and ended on May 16th, 2023. Second FOIA request is from Lexi Eichenold for the last round of results for the snow removal bid. Third FOIA request is from Vince Espy of Prairie State Wire for contracts or agreements with diversity, equity, and inclusion services, reports, assessments, or evaluations conducted by DEI vendors, including their findings and recommendations, and communications between the school district and DEI vendors discussing the provision of services or related matters. The fourth FOIA request is from Sherry Reed of Smart Procure for any and all purchasing records from March 13th, 2023 to present. The fifth FOIA request is from Bo Kim of unionbids.com for bid results, tabulations, or award for District 94 bid dated 6/2/23 for snow removal services for school years 23-24 and 24-25, bid number 23-04. The sixth FOIA request is from legal@gebisonline.com for records related to the high school wrestling program, including team photos, yearbook photos or pages, uniform purchase orders, promotional documents distributed to students or parents, and contact information for the person responsible for the wrestling program. The seventh FOIA request is from Matthew Garling for minutes, documents, notes, or records of the D94 meeting with ISB on April 6, 2022, which is referenced on page 2 of the ISBE report. And the final FOIA request is from Catherine Smizer with NBC Chicago for all settlement agreements resolving freedom of information lawsuits, judgments, or other court orders requiring the district to pay attorney's fees, costs, and/or civil penalties in any FOIA lawsuits, invoices from law firms for work on any FOIA lawsuits, or public access counsel reviews where the lawsuit or PAC review was ultimately decided in favor of the requestor, claims made to an insurance company for coverage involving a FOIA action, and studies, reports, or other records calculating or referencing the cost of FOIA lawsuits or PAC reviews. In other news, we conducted a teacher evaluator retraining for the administrative team earlier this month. The training consisted of 2 full-day administrator academies on June 5th and 6th, which focused on gathering evidence during observations, effective conferencing, and student growth. We are very appreciative of Jill Bulow from the DuPage ROE, who presented both of those academies in person for the first time since COVID, giving our team an opportunity to engage in meaningful dialogue and calibration exercises. And finally, the Wellness Committee is proud to share that our district has again reached Tier 3 of the EBC Wellness Incentive Program for a third year running, resulting in a rebate of 0.75% of the projected annual premium. The committee already has big plans for 23-24, including more opportunities for community building and adult SEL. And this concludes my report.
Thank you, Julie. That brings us to the ISB status update. This is updates relating to the action items that came at the back of the ISB report. On May 26, 2023, Dr. Cheng, Dr. Dwyer, and Graham Quinn, legal counsel, met with representatives Melanie Grant and Liz Brown from ISB, as well as Kathy Ekstrand and Carrie Esperanza from the DuPage Regional Office of Education. This was the first meeting regarding the ISB report issued on May 5, 2023, and it was to discuss the orders of action and technical assistance. Liz Brown indicated that she would be the point of contact for technical assistance and will reach out to follow up. Regarding the specific items, orders of action number 1 and 2. A policy and procedure were drafted by Dan Boyle. These documents were reviewed by administrators and staff who are most involved with student withdrawals. Drafts of both were submitted to ISB on June 13th, 2023. We are awaiting input from ISB before moving forward with adoption at the Board of Education and Training for faculty and staff. Orders of action 3 through 7. Pending approval of the submitted draft documents, the school district will schedule the required training and issue the statements of assurance as requested. Order of action number 8. The student handbook for the 2023 to 2024 school year is currently being translated. The school district is on track to meet the deadline for this order of action. Order of action number 9. The first of 3 requested meetings was completed on May 26, 2023. The future meetings in November 2023 and April of 2024 will be scheduled at ISB's convenience, and all required materials will be provided. Order of action number 10. All required documentation will be submitted in a timely and comprehensive manner consistent with the last 15 months. Technical Assistance 1 and 2. ISB assigned Liz Brown, who is present at the May 26th Zoom meeting, to serve as consultant for the areas of technical assistance. We are awaiting her to reach out to us regarding these 2 matters. All right, that brings us to committee and representative reports. Facility Renaming Ad Hoc Committee meeting. The recommended motions that the Facility Naming Ad Hoc Committee approve the minutes of the meeting listed above.
I'll move.
All those in favor? That's the 2 people from the committee?
Aye.
Okay, that takes care of that. Any update from the world of SACID?
No, did you want me to explain a little bit about the facility renaming a little bit?
Oh, yes, if you have an update on that, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much of an update, just to let everybody know that we did have our first meeting. I met with Penny, and we advised Kathy Dreamus what we were doing. She was unable to meet that particular night. We decided that since we had 3 board members, it would be probably in everybody's best interest if we kind of still continue with the 3. So to round out the committee, we would like to have 3 students, 3 staff, and 3 community members. We've already had some people reaching out to us, and I know some of the 3 of us have had some ideas on names too. So we're going to individually reach out to people, and then we will schedule another meeting late July, early August, and kind of get the ball rolling from there. And that's where we're at with that. And as for SACID, no updates from SACID.
All right, thank you for those updates.
You're welcome.
As to future dates, there will be a regular Board of Education meeting on July 18th, a Committee of the Whole meeting on August 1st, and a regular Board of Education meeting on August 15th. And that brings us to open comment from board members. I have reached out to the Illinois Association of School Boards to request their assistance in finding an interim superintendent. Dr. Patricia Vineyard has informed me that the association will provide this service to us at no charge. She has already begun looking at possible candidates. If the board wants to go down this path, Dr. Vineyard will likely provide us with several possible candidates, which we would then interview during one or more yet-to-be-scheduled special meetings. The board would then be able to select a candidate and negotiate an employment contract with them so that they would handle the superintendent duties until such time as we are able to hire a new superintendent. Since most interim superintendents are retired, they are limited to no more than 120 days of work during the year. It might be necessary to hire 2 interim superintendents, for example, one to cover the first half of the year and one to cover the second half. Are there any questions or concerns about starting this interim superintendent search process?
You had mentioned that the IASB would provide the interim services at no charge if we move forward with them for a full search. Is that still?
That has changed.
Okay. So we're not committing to IASB then for.
We are in no way committing. The School Board Association, Dr. Vineyard was very happy to say that the association would offer us those services free of charge. There's no contingency on us using them for the full search. Any other questions or comments or concerns? All right then, any other open comment from board members?
I'm still not comfortable with the IASB report. I think there are some wrongly developed conclusions, and I think for the benefit of the district and for the benefit of the staff, we should ask some questions and challenge some of the conclusions. I understand that we're not going to upset the apple cart as far as the orders that we've been given to follow, but I think there are some things that need to be clarified and reconsidered as far as the report itself.
And how would you recommend we proceed on that?
maybe a committee to review the report and put together a set of questions to forward back to ISB and include the ROE in it.
Is that a board issue? Or is that more of an administrative issue?
Could be both. No. I guess I'd ask for some additional feedback from other members of the board. I guess I'm not comfortable just letting it be as it was presented.
I concur. I think particularly having administrators review it in detail, because they're in a better position, I think, to understand the nuances of the report than board members would be helpful.
Perhaps that would be an early action item for the interim superintendent to work with the administration to look through the report and recommend a course of action. Does that seem reasonable?
We can wait that long.
You're suggesting the administration work on that at this point, even without the interim superintendent being in place?
Yeah, I don't think it really affects the interim superintendent. It's more the people that were involved in the conversations to begin with.
Well, we can certainly put it to the administration, and they can consider it and respond back to the board on their thoughts on going through that. And that
we
seem
can certainly bring
reasonable?
that back to Dr. Dwyer as well. I think Dan and I are probably the least well positioned to speak to a lot of what's in the report. So as soon as Will's back in town, we'll make sure to bring him into the loop on that.
All right, any other open comment? All right, any future issues? All right, that brings us to consent agenda. Does anybody wish any items removed from the consent agenda for separate action? All right, hearing none, we go into the consent agenda, looking for a motion for approval of the consent agenda, which includes approval of minutes, including the amended closed session meeting minutes from February 21st, 2023, the open and closed session regular Board of Education meeting minutes from May 16th, 2023, the special joint Boards of Education meeting minutes of District 25, 33, 34, and 94 from May 23rd, 2023, the open and closed session special Board of Education meeting minutes from June 1st, 2023, also the acceptance of minutes from the Facility Naming Policy Committee, the approval of financials as detailed in the agenda, the personnel report as presented, the IASB draft policies as detailed in the agenda, the review of closed session minutes, and the destruction of closed session minutes audio recordings.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Doremus. Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Sake.
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
All right, there being no old business, that brings us to new business. Student travel. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve student travel for We Go Drama to New York from March 28th to April 1st, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Sake.
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer. Ms. Doremus.
Aye.
Second item is also student travel. Recommended motion that the Board of Education approve student travel for We Go Global to San Jose, Costa Rica from July 8th to 16th, 2024.
So moved.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Sake.
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Ms. Doremus.
Aye.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Next up is paper procurement bid. Recommended motion is the Board of Education approve the bid proposal from Murnane Paper Company, Elmhurst, Illinois, for the procurement of paper during the 2023 to 2024 school year in the amount of $59,533.20.
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Sake. Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Ms. Doremus.
Aye.
Ms. Munoz.
All right, next up is snow removal services bid. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the bid proposal from Ground Effects Maintenance, Addison, Illinois, for snow removal services for the 2023 to 2024 and 2024 to 2025 school years in the total amount of $99,140.
Move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Mr. Ramos.
Aye.
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 All right, next up is electrical for outdoor lighting. Recommended motions that the Board of Education approve the proposal from Associated Electrical Contractors, LLC, Woodstock, Illinois, to install and wire bollard lights on the west side of the building in the amount of $31,820.
Move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please. Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Mr. Ramos.
Aye.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
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 Next up is Music Library Storage System. Recommended motion that the Board of Education approve the quote from Wenger Corporation, Owatonna, Minnesota, for the purchase and installation of a music library storage system in the amount of $24,999.
Move.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye. Next up is security cameras. Recommended motion that the Board of Education approve the quote from CDWG Vernon Hills, Illinois, for the purchase of additional security cameras throughout the building in the amount of $12,117.86. Any discussion?
How many additional cameras is that going to be, Dan?
34.
How many?
34.
And this is in response to the camera section of the security audit that we had done before?
Partially, yes.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Ms. Munoz.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Sake.
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Those are Wi-Fi, or we have to do some additional wiring for,
There'll be additional wiring.
and that's going to come in at some project down the way?
We're going to do that in-house. We'll have our maintenance guys and temporary maintenance guys do that work.
IP?
That IP?
Is it like part of the internet, or is it just video wiring?
Starting to get outside my
Okay.
purview here.
Your IP, your IP's BIP based, yes.
All right, the last item, and it makes me quite sad that this is something we even need to be purchasing at a school, but I understand the needs. Bullet-resistant film. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the quote from MGT Film, Wakanda, Illinois, for the purchase and installation of bullet-resistant film on various doors and windows around the first floor of the building in the amount of $14,791.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer.
Aye.
Mr. Ramos.
Aye.
All right, that concludes our business, and there's no need for executive session, so...
I'd like to go back to board comment if we can for a minute.
Okay.
I appreciate the work that our interpreter does, but it's very difficult when the speaker and the interpreter are talking over each other. And I think we've had this discussion before, Bob and I, that we need to have some rules or explanation that the original speaker should take a few phrases, give the interpreter opportunity to translate that, and then go back. For them to both be talking at the same time, it's hard, at least for me, to understand what the interpreter is saying, so I think I'm losing the message that the original speaker is trying to pass along. It shouldn't be that hard to just explain to people that are going to come up that, you need to say a few things, then let the interpreters interpret, and then go back and continue on. And it seems like, they just get on a roll and it gets difficult to get the message across from my standpoint.
An interpreter should be translating or interpreting simultaneously, but you can recommend, or we can recommend, that she pause and ask whoever is speaking to pause after 2 or 3 sentences to give her the time to be able to interpret.
If you could come up to the microphone, please. There's no reason we can't have a discussion here on this.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for the, I appreciate your comment. And if you want me to clarify, just as you were saying, Ms. Penny Munoz, what I was doing was simultaneous interpreting, and that's what I was asked to do. But if it will benefit everybody, right, to wait for the person, I'll be more than happy. Actually, sometimes that tends to be a little bit easier as well. So yes, that will be perfect in the future. I can always tell the person that is going to be at the mic to pause, so I can be interpreting after her. So I'll be more than happy to do so.
I think that would be easier for those of us who do
Absolutely.
not speak Spanish.
Perfect. I can do that.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you
easier
very
for
much.
me too.
Thank you.
I guess, to be fair, if somebody has their time period allotted and it's going to take them twice as long to get through a statement because we're doing it twice, I think we, maybe want to have some flexibility on timing if that's the case.
What I have been doing to try to be fair when we first ran into this question, and upon the recommendation from the School Board Association, is I'm timing them when they're speaking in Spanish, and then during the translation I stop the timer so that it has the same effect. We're only timing what they're presenting. That seems to be about the most fair way to do it.
That's great, and we should let people know that that's what we're doing so that one group doesn't feel like they're not getting their share of time because another group is using more of it.
Are you suggesting something else be added to the intro for public comment regarding how things are timed?
Well, that would make sense, yeah. Not only how things are timed, but also that we want to go phrase to phrase, not necessarily simultaneous, if that's the term that we use.
All right, we can see what we can do.
That's my perspective. If everybody else feels the same way, then then it's a board issue.
It certainly seems to make sense.
Is there a reason why we read the information about what they can speak about and then don't follow through, as in bringing up specific names of employees and making derogatory comments?
We cannot forbid them from saying that. So what we are doing is we are requesting that they don't, and if their concerns fall into those issues, we're requesting them to put it on paper, but legally we do not have the right to say you cannot, you may not. We may not legally cut them off if they start doing that. That's the way the Open Meeting Act is written.
Maybe the request needs to be made also in Spanish, because we're requesting it in English. They may not hear that and understand that. So again, the interpreter might pass that along as well.
And I am just providing an answer just as they interpret it. I do have a form that they get where it states exactly what you say at the very beginning, what the public comment is about and how it should be conducted. At the same time, just as you mentioned, I cannot prevent them from saying the name once, as much as I can ask them only what you say at the very beginning, and then they decide to do what they like to do.
Sure. No, I understand.
Yes, but they are getting that information.
The guidance that I've received from our attorney is that unless it gets into profanity or violence, they can say what they wish. We can request, but they can say what they wish. All right, at this point, is there a motion to adjourn?
Moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, everyone.
Bring on the paperwork.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, happily share whatever I have.
Oh, yes, well, I know it's difficult when you only have handwritten notes to find.
I
So if it
know.
doesn't exist.
I've gone through them many times.